Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Real Money Coach Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We are here and we are excited about it. Looking forward to spending the next hour with you here talking about all things money. This is the Real Money Coach. And y'all know what we do. You know what we do in the chat. You know what we do in the chat. Put where you are watching from, what city, what state. Holler at your boy. Let's know where you're at. Put it in the chat box. I'm so excited that you're with us. And I just have a feeling we're going to have a lot of new viewers tonight because I sent out some invitations to be a part of our exclusive online community. And so, Dr. Benita Harris, thank you for being first to say I'm in the Queen City. Listen, we are excited about the show. Can you guys believe we're already in July? And not just in July. All right, we got somebody from Jackson, Mississippi. I was just there with y'all. Love it. Hey, Constance, good to have you with us tonight as well. Listen, Alice Martin is chiming in. Y'all coming on in. Listen, whoever that is in Jackson, Mississippi, put your name in there because just on my end just comes through as Facebook user. Let me know who you are, which one of the wonderful folks that I met while I was down there in Mississippi. Had a great time. We'll talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk a little bit about getting out of debt. We might talk a little bit about this thing called inflation, recession, all that stuff. We're just going to have a conversation about all things pertaining to money and finances and what you're doing right now to save on your expenses, with everything going up and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to have some great conversation. We're going to get a chance to talk to Michelle, who's been on vacation. She abandoned me for a month, y'all. And so we're going to talk to her a little bit about how her vacation was, what that was like to take a month's vacation, something we all should be striving to do so that we can renew and refresh, right? So unplug. I think that's a great idea. So those are all some of the things that we have in store for you tonight. Again, remember to put where you're watching from so that we can say hey and hello to you wherever you may be. So let's do this. Before I get any further down my little rabbit hole here, let's bring Michelle Mitchell on the screen, on stage. Michelle,
Hello.
how you doing?
I'm doing well.
You look like you refreshed, you renewed, all that good stuff.
I am refreshed, renewed, and ready to go.
Awesome.
Hit the gates running. So yeah.
Hit the streets running.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Michelle, you were on a month sabbatical, right?
I was.
So you were in other countries and all this kind of stuff. So give us a little update, Michelle. What were you up to the last? I mean, it's like 5-6 weeks. Where were you?
Okay. Anyway, so I did take 4 weeks off of, to recharge, but it was our my husband and I 30th wedding anniversary. So we went on our vacation, and it was absolutely wonderful. 10 days of tropics and first class and just being pampered for a whole 10 days, So we really enjoyed ourselves. It was good to get away. Hi, Dr. Bonita. It's good to be back. So we got to recharge and reconnect and just kind of chill and do nothing. It's so wonderful when you have a partner where doing nothing is still enjoyable. So
you still like each other enough. Y'all can sit around and do nothing and have a good time.
And we would sit out on the balcony every evening and feel the ocean breeze and listen to Sirius XM and just kind of people watch people at the pool and whatnot. So that was very enjoyable with my husband. But I took 4 weeks away from my business, guys. And guess what? My business still ran.
I was going to say, did the business collapse or
the business did not collapse? We hired a new employee. He started the day I left, and I have nothing but good reports. Nothing broke, nothing that couldn't wait for me. So the preparation that I put in place really worked. It really worked. We still made money. We hired a new employee. We onboarded a new client while I was gone, and everything. The team did what they were supposed to do.
That's,
So
that's
guess
a
what?
beautiful
I'm
thing.
not needed that much.
Well, we always say that cliche, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yes.
And so it really does. And,
Mhm.
that's a testament to what you've set up to be in that position where your business will run. Because so often, we become the bottleneck in our business
Yes.
because it can't really function without us.
Right.
And we think that makes us valuable, right?
Right. We do. We think
But
that
but it's kind of a
makes us.
reverse. It's a
Yeah. And it's really cool because the one thing that I discovered by doing this is that each team member own their position.
mm.
They own what they are responsible for. And that's how I was able, because like I didn't even say, hey y'all. I
You
didn't.
didn't?
No,
You
I didn't. I
just
didn't.
that's cool.
I didn't because I wanted to see where we had the holes in the business that we need to now go back and fill. There are a few things, but for the most part, things ran very, very smoothly.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And for those who maybe not know what Mitchell Consulting is, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mitchell Consulting and what you do? Since it's been a while, it's
It's
good
been,
to refresh people so that
yeah.
they know what kind of services you provide.
Yeah. Well, Mitchell Consulting provides, um, we help business owners bridge the gap between their knowledge base and their profits because there's things you don't know that you don't know about how to really build profit in your business. So we do everything from bookkeeping to forecasting out your next 5 years. So we do everything in between. So we're a full service accounting firm, but we don't do taxes. But we get you
Except
ready
for
for them.
taxes.
Exactly.
All
We
right.
get you ready for them, but we don't actually do taxes. So we can be your back office. And we can help the business owner like gain more knowledge about financial literacy and how that works in their business, help you with cash flow and budgeting and forecasting and all of that, along with the day-to-day, financial operations of the business. So that's what Mitchell
So you,
Consulting.
you you're like the CEO. You're the
You're
CEO.
the,
You
yeah.
can be like the outsource CFO.
Yeah,
I was going to say outsource.
CFO. We are the
Yeah.
outsourced CFO for a lot of our clients. And those who aren't ready for CFO work, we still do your basic accounting and bookkeeping for you as well. So,
Right. So for our business owners, you
mhm.
make it rain, right? You make it
I make it
rain.
rain. That's
You
right.
make it rain. You make
Yeah,
make the money because if it don't make money,
it don't
it don't
make
make
sense.
sense, right?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
our thing. If it
I
don't
mean,
make
and I do have to like toot our horn for a little bit because we went back and like looked at our clients and where they were when they started working with us and where they are now. And most of our clients who have advisory services increase their revenue or their
mm,
profits. So increase revenue by about um the revenue number is about 60% and the profit number is about 30%. So
wow, that's
those are
good.
big numbers.
Those are big
Those are
numbers.
really big numbers.
And if a business can do that,
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, even every 5 years, not to mention a
In
shorter time frame than
in a
that.
shorter
I
time
mean,
frame.
that's
Yeah.
that's that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
So, well, Michelle, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
I'm glad that everything went well. Your business didn't go kaput. They wasn't calling me saying, your,
Yeah.
your kids weren't calling me Uncle Tony, Uncle Tony. Everybody was
Right.
good. Everybody was
Right.
good. So
Right.
Listen, what I want to do next is I want to bring Marlon Smith on the stage with us, and this is kind of a great moment. I mean, I have the two people that I've hosted this show with the most, you and Marlon. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. If y'all watched the last month, tell me if you like TJ on the show or not. Tell me if
I
you thought the
did.
little boy did good, right?
He
I
did.
thought we had some phenomenal guests when he was on, some of his friends. And there he is. We got Marlon Smith live and in person. How you doing, Marlon?
Hey, doing great, Tony, Michelle. Great to be here.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, man, just thinking about as we are even having this moment that it's been 2 years, right? And it's almost split down the middle. Marlon hosted for a year, you've hosted for a year, and so now I'm gonna go off for a year, and y'all two gonna take it over.
Right, right. We rotate. We rotate.
You rotate. We're
Right.
gonna rotate. We're gonna keep it rotating. But I just wanted to just kind of just to have a roundtable conversation about why it's important doing what we do. Marlon, if you would mind, we spent some time in Mississippi doing a couple things. You want to kind of update people? Look, Alice Martin said TJ was outstanding. Alice Martin. That's all right. So tell us a little bit about tell the audience a little bit about what we did in Mississippi.
Yeah, we were invited to come down and do two different programs, youth programs in two different cities in Mississippi. And it was really wonderful. When you see young kids getting excited about money and learning some lessons as to how to budget, how to save, delayed gratification. We played this game from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow, Robert Kiyosaki's game, and a board game. And it was just amazing. And we also had the young people do a vision board. And the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain that he that pick it up can run with it. And so it was phenomenal. We also decided, we flew into Jackson, Mississippi, and with Tony's last name being Jackson, he said, let's do a program. Let's do a financial empowerment seminar. And so we hosted a seminar, in a nice hotel and whatnot. And we just really just loved on people and people. So one person drove from 2 hours away to come, and we had these two mothers and their daughters, join us. I mean, it was just really, it was special. And so, I think, with what Tony is doing and Michelle, it's just so important, and I always ask the question, and, I've been blessed. I've traveled and done programs in many cities, as many states, many countries. And whenever I ask the question, have you ever asked yourself, if I had only known back then what I know now, how would my life be different? And all hands go up, and we can relate. I know many of you watching right now. I mean, if you had known back then what you know now, how would your life be different? And so, that's the thing. And again, there's no shame. If we knew better, we do better. But I think now being exposed to the Real Money Coach, you can't say you didn't know. And Tony, I think your book, iPad Your Money, my son, my 12-year-old son and I, we read it together, and just want to plant that seed. And so I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Mississippi was phenomenal, and I think we'll be doing more things. And even for those of you that are watching, if you ever you heard Michelle, I mean, I know many of you are saying, "Wow." Some of you have your business. Others may say, "I would one day want to have a business." But success leaves footprints. And for Michelle and her husband to take, 30 days off and just enjoy and still have the business operation rolling, amazing. And so I want to encourage you, to reach out to Michelle and say, hey, how did you do it? She's a very giving person, and she and her team are about making a positive difference. So, I think the beautiful thing is that Yeah, Latricia, yeah, we were in Mississippi, girl. We
We were there.
yeah. Man, let me tell you, Tony and I, we got our grub on up in there.
Oh, listen, man, I ate so many grits when we were in Mississippi. Man. It seems like every meal, Michelle, every meal is like there was grits, right?
Right,
Shrimp and
right.
grits, catfish and grits. I mean,
Right.
I had so many, and I loved it. So yeah, so we were Latricia, we were in Jackson on Sunday. I think that was June 26th or something like that. And so we had a program there at the Westin Hotel that Sunday afternoon and had a phenomenal time. And here's the thing that moved me, Michelle, is as we were closing up and Marlon was going around the room asking people to share what they got out of it. And there's a gentleman there, and he said, and it was almost like choked up, wasn't it, Marlon? I mean, almost like tears, right? And he said that the thing for him is, he said, if I had not come here tonight, where would I have ever gotten this information? And he was like 64 years old, 67 years old. Said, I'm 64 years old. I got it together financially, at least, I think so. But where would I have gotten this information if I hadn't showed up here tonight? And for me, that was so important because that was showing that we were bringing that value.
Right.
And then as Marlon talked about, then we spent the next 4 days, teaching in West Point, Mississippi, and in Macon, Mississippi. And it was kind of special for me just because my parents both being from Mississippi, just to be there and be able to give back to that state that it's given me so much,
Right.
And because if it had not been for my parents, I mean, where would I, I wouldn't even, be in existence. So, it was just pretty important, pretty powerful. And just again, why is financial literacy, why is financial education so important? I mean, what's your thoughts, Michelle? Why do you think it's,
I think financial literacy is important because everything we do in our life is surrounded by money. And if we don't understand how money works in our lives and how we can actually get control over our own habits around money, then you can set your life up for more success when you understand that. So financial literacy is entwined in money is entwined in all parts of our lives. We can't really do anything. And people have to realize that money is actually a tool to use so that you can maneuver in life, right? And if they don't understand that, they just do what they've seen done already. And because we already know in our community that people aren't taught about financial literacy, is either one thing or other. You either save every little penny and miser your money, or you live beyond your means elaborately and you spend everything you got. And then when you look at what your assets are, you actually have none because you're in debt.
Right. And that was one of the things about the cash flow game too, that we were doing, is it's about building assets. And so the winner of the game is the person who has more assets than they have liabilities.
Right.
And so it was really a way for them to learn that lesson. And so, Marlon, I ask you this, y'all. Let me just put a plug in for the show. I think the engineers over at Radio One are awesome. Excuse me, Ron Holland. I want to give a shout out to him, and also Melody Pratt over there at Radio One Praise 100. I had my first Radio One show on Saturday. They did a phenomenal job. Marlon did an interview for me, and And I think it's interesting, Marlon. I'd love for you to share why you made a leap or why you integrated financial stuff in with the leadership stuff that you were doing in terms of speaking around the world. Why bring money into it?
Mm.
Well, yeah, I mean, what Michelle said is so real, right? I mean, it's every day, right? Every every hour, every second. And having been blessed to have spoken in 45 states and 18 countries, the one commonality I was seeing is, people were really stressing when it came to money. And it was causing a lot of stress. It was, and uncertainty and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And, I prayed to God, God, I know there's a bigger purpose for me. And, God, boy, ask and you shall receive. And, I mean, just even the real money coach and connecting with you, Tony and Michelle. I mean, it's amazing. Right. And, one of the things I do want to say, you can learn strategies, but I also think, and this is really important, I want everybody to really hear what I'm about to say. Your mindset, I mean, what you really, really believe about you. I mean, this is deep because I am very clear. Your subconscious mind, what you really believe about you, not what you may say, or I want this, I want that, but what you really believe as far as your identity. And I really believe that's the first step, really understanding, because really, to be honest with you, I think we all have had some things instilled in us. Some things have happened to us and we can get stuck. But I really want to encourage each one of us to understand that you were born on purpose. And for you to even be tuning in, for you to be even on this program right now, it's not by luck or chance. There's something for you. There's something greater for you in your future. I believe your best days are before you. But I can believe it, but do you believe it? And the reason I'm so passionate about that is because the mindset, and please write this down or you can put it in the chat box, C plus B equals A. C plus B equals A. What is C plus B equals A? C, what you conceive in your mind and you believe in your heart, you will achieve. I mean, just let that really sink in. And the reason why I say this is because, and that's why I love what we did in Mississippi with the vision board, because write the vision. So many times we're just moving so fast, we don't even slow down. What is your purpose? What is success? What if you could have all the money and all the time, what would you do? My friend Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, I'll never forget, he said to me, Marlon, most people work for 40, 50, 60 hours to play on the weekend. That's why we have this thing called TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But the question is, what is your play? What comes to you? What would you do for free? Because if you can turn your play into your work, check this out. Here's your play. Here's your work. If you can turn your play into your work, theoretically, you'll never work a day in your life because your play is your work. And to me, what you just heard with Michelle and talking about, hey, had the systems, but also she's driven by a purpose. She's driven to say, you know what? I'm here on this earth to make a difference. And so now she has a team that is around her, right? And what did she say? Each one is doing what their God gifts are. And that to me is the key. And it's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's not about, Instagram or Facebook or what people are. No, it's about you. What, and again, you got to go within. And I love this. I mean, if you haven't gotten this book, go to iPadYourMoney.com. And not only you, I know many of you have it, but I want to encourage you to share with at least 10 people tonight. iPad Your Money, and I'm gonna let Tony talk more about it. If regarding if there's an offer, but the reason
he didn't want to throw it out there. He didn't want to throw it out there, but it's free, y'all. It's free.
Right,
if y'all go to iPadYourMoney.com and then enter the discount code iPad IPAD, capital I, capital PAD, all caps 100. It's yours free. We even cover the shipping and handling for you. So
That's amazing. That's
just
amazing,
go
Tony.
there. Do that.
Thank you, Tony. I mean, that's amazing. And readers are leaders, and leaders are readers.
Mhm.
I mean, again, these are some basic things, but I'm going to tell you, I've read a lot of books, and what Tony has done in iPad Your Money, I mean, it's fantastic. The
It is.
stories that
Yep.
they illustrate, right? You get drawn in. My son, 12
Mhm.
years old, Corey. I mean, I made him read out loud. I had my book, he had his book.
Yeah.
and when he didn't know a word, I said, okay, here's the correct pronunciation of the word, and so I made him redo it because I'm planting that seed. That's why I'm encouraging our viewers to share with your family, your friends. My man just said it's free.
Right.
Don't undervalue that, and that's the thing, Tony. Sometimes if it's free, we don't value.
And that's the risk that you take when you make things
Yeah.
for free, is because people don't value it.
Yeah.
But that's why even when I give the book away, I prefer people to go to the website and order it, because at least you take that action to say, instead of me just giving it to you, you're at least going to go there, you're going to enter the information, and you're going to do that. And sometimes we even tie it to an appointment. So, and that's the other thing. If you want an appointment to discuss things, it's iPadappointment.com. It's iPadyourmoney.com. Order your book, iPad 100. It's free. Schedule your appointment. Free, no obligation review of where you are. And it's a conversation. It's a conversation.
Mhm.
But as you were talking about it, we were talking about the Real Money Coach, and we were talking about money. It just reminded me really early on. I mean, a couple months into the show, someone sent me an email and said, I don't like your show because all you do is talk about money. I was like, you realize the name of the show is the Real Money Coach, right? You realize that's the name. But, I really want to ask the people who are watching, the audience tonight. I'm contemplating doing something. I'm contemplating having a series. We've done something similar before, but I'm thinking about having a series about money and ministry. Money and ministry. And I think part of what's making me feel that way is because of all the controversy that has come around Creflo Dollar and what he said about tithing and all that. So I'm really thinking about, and I just want to ask the audience, if you guys think it would be a good idea for me to bring some pastors on and have them come on the show, and we have a conversation about money and ministry. If you think that's a good idea, put it in the chat box. If we get enough people to say yes, I think we'll pursue that and have some folks come on and talk about it, because it is a big part of our life, and it's not our God, obviously, right? But what George Fraser is right up there with oxygen, right? Is next, because ministry needs money. If you're going to affect humanity, those things cost. Those costs, and so I think it would be just a good. It would be a good series to do. Just have that conversation about money and ministry. And why are we so afraid to talk about money in church?
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about money. We don't want to talk about sex. We don't want to talk about drugs and alcohol. But those are things that are leading people into to sin, right? Those are things that people need to be delivered from. And we all got issues, right? We all have issues. And so why not address those things so that we can actually start to make a difference in people's lives, not just financially, but their whole lives. And so which kind of brings me to a topic that I talked about on Saturday. Oh, by the way, let me tell you that the you got the link going across the screen right now for the book. And again, the discount code was iPad, all caps, 100, and that you apply that discount at checkout, and it's yours for free. So I had a conversation about debt, because we know that debt has become really out of hand, right? So you're talking about there's over 70, the average consumer debt per person this is per person, is $70,000 United States.
Wow.
$70,000, right? Now that's per person. I mean, that means little people, not just grown folks. I mean, everybody in your house, person per person, the average. And Marlon, I've heard you say this many times about, and I'm gonna let you repeat it, that we're borrowing money to do what?
Oh, yes, borrowing money that we don't have to buy things that we really don't need
Don't need.
to impress people who really don't care.
Right, right. So, and then we were having a conversation here, Lisa and I, and the question came up, how we used to say you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's the Joneses? And in today's environment of social media, the Joneses are people halfway across the country or the world.
Right.
I mean, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, or whatever it is, we put up these appearances to try to keep up like we're like with Jay-Z and Beyonce or something. We try to keep up these appearances. And I think it's causing us oftentimes to spend money that we don't have and create debt. So I just wanted to get you guys, I just want to get you guys' opinion on it and tell me what you think about
it. Michelle, please.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So from my perspective, because I work with business owners, I have to separate this. Consumer debt is different than investments in your business. Okay. Consumer debt, we need to keep that as low as possible because the debt repayment becomes a fixed expense for your cash flow. In a business, when you go into debt, it's an investment because you need a return on that. And the return will allow you to pay that back faster because you're doing business to generate more revenue. That's the only reason you really go into debt for business, is so that you can generate more revenue, which means you have the revenue to pay off the debt. But on the consumer side of it, is debt straps you because your income is not adjustable. So if you don't know, everybody is on a fixed income unless you have a business. Everybody. If you're an employee, you're on a fixed income. It's not just our elders who have retired and are collecting Social Security. No, you own a fixed income too, because if you have no other way of increasing the amount of cash that comes into your household. So debt becomes a burden because it eats up a large portion of the income that comes into your home. And if it's consumer debt like credit card debt or personal loans or things of that nature, you're paying for things that you got 3 or 5 years ago today. Now that just don't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's cutting into what you could be using for investment to make your life better so that you can have more assets.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's my take on debt. And I have to separate it because business debt is a little different than consumer debt.
Good point. Good point. For me, Tony, when you talk about debt, I read a book, The Millionaire Next Door. Mm-hmm. And man, that book opened my eyes. It confirmed a lot. Because look, when I was in school, I'm in a fraternity, and my frat brothers, we used to joan on each other, play the dozens, crack on each other, whatever you want to call it, right? And I remember because I my dad and my mom's father, my grandfather, very conservative, mm-hmm. Believed in owning their own home or homes outright, and my dad, in particular, he used to bag his lunch, brown bag his lunch every day, and take his lunch to work. And so anyways, that's who I am. That's in my DNA. And so, I remember, Michelle and Tony, where, frat brothers be joning and I didn't have the latest designer clothes, right? And I remember, Nikes were big, right, back in the day. And I remember somebody said, "Oh, Marlon doesn't have Nikes. He's got Smikeys," and they were hollering, right? They were, it was rough, y'all. And, I just never, I believe like, am I going to wear my wealth? Am I going to drive my wealth? I'm about, man, I want freedom.
Yeah.
For the listeners, for the viewers, just think about what would it feel like? What would it feel like to have the assets? That's what Michelle's talking about. That's what cash flow was all about, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, right? Having the assets where the assets are generating enough money to pay your monthly expenses every month. Right. You are out of the rat race, ladies and gentlemen. Right. I want you just to type in the chat box. How would that feel? How would it feel where when you go to sleep at night, come on, somebody, and you just know, and that you're good. Right. And that, man, I can do what I want to do when I want to do with who I want to do. To me, that's freedom. That's freedom. And if once I realized like debt, credit card, and I'll give you a perfect example. Took my kids to the outlet mall and, and they're all bling, bling and, they want to buy, $250 tennis shoes. I was like, okay, we can buy it. But I tell you what, I'm going to pay $80. You can pay straight up, because I'm, in my budget, I got $80. I'm going to buy y'all, and guess what happened? Oh no, we'll take the $80.
We'll take the 80. Exactly.
Right.
So anyway, I just think the credit card, Dave Ramsey talks about it, and I can relate, when I pay with a credit card, it's play money. it's like, it's monopoly.
Yeah, it doesn't hit you the same. It doesn't hit the same. Yeah,
exactly, man. So, I think with this debt, man, just again, think about, you're trying to get out of a hole. Here's just a visual. And think about where you're climbing, but then, debt, you're adding more debt. So it's almost like you're falling back down in the hole. I think that's a great, that just came to me. And so, man, I want to get out of the hole. Right. But again, it goes back to the mindset.
Yeah.
And so when you know that man, I am loved, I am perfect just as I am. It doesn't matter what I wear, it doesn't matter what I'm driving, doesn't matter the house I live in, man. I can breathe. Do you understand? Your health is the ultimate wealth, but being grateful, I think, turns things on. It accentuates. When you have an attitude of gratitude, man, you look at life a different way. And that's why I encourage people. Tony's heard me say, I'm sure Michelle, I encourage people to keep a success gratitude journal.
Yeah.
Every night before you go to bed, answer 3 questions. What was great about today? What did I learn today? And what did I do today to move closer to fulfilling my dreams and my goals? I do that. I've been doing this for years. And people say, man, how can you be so excited? Because, man, I see my progress. I see my growth, and I honor God because I see the blessings, the miracles every single day. What you focus on becomes your reality. So the debt question, Tony, I'm like, yo, family, come on, let's really look at this thing, And I remember you guys are the accountants and whatnot, but I remember taking an economics class and they talked about, I think it's called margin utility or opportunity cost, right? If I pay $1, for this, there's an opportunity cost, meaning I could have used that dollar for something else. Right. And so, there's just so much. And I know you guys have talked about the rule of 72, compound interest. Debt is the enemy. And, as far as I'm talking about consumer debt, I think what Michelle was sharing, if you're, using debt or OPM, other people's money to leverage, you got to have the mindset. That's why they got to connect with you, Michelle. They got to connect with you, Tony, because, man, let's make sure we have a plan for our breakthrough, right? For our financial freedom. You got to have a plan. not going to happen overnight. So
No.
I'll be quiet. I know y'all are just like,
Well,
man,
you
this
know,
brother
that's
just
perfect.
came on and just started getting excited. Amen.
That's
For sure.
perfect. That's perfect. That's why, you know, we have to just be conscious of it. And I tell people the first thing you got to do with your debt, if you're going to get out of debt, is you got to face the reality, right?
Yeah.
You got to make a list of all those debts. And whether you're using the avalanche method, which is you pay the highest interest rate first and then work your way down, or you use the snowball method where you pay the smallest balance first. Either way, you got to get rid of the debt. You got to get rid of the debt. And the first thing you got to do is just make a reality check and list it all out. And so I do want to let people know that it does appear that there's something wrong with the Kajabi website where the book offer is. So hopefully, you know, by sometime, hopefully they'll get that fixed, some kind of technical twitch there, but we'll get it done and you guys can get your book ordered and that type of thing. So, but yeah, the Bible's true, right? That that the borrower is slave to the lender and all these type of things. And someone talked about, you know, amazing to have the freedom of no debt. And I think that's part of what we don't do enough in our retirement planning is planning on going into retirement with no debt, because I think that can just create so much cash flow for you if you're not having to make a house payment, if you're not having to have, you know, those types of things. It just creates more fluent money, more disposable income, so that you can enjoy the retirement that you desire to do.
Yeah. And from my side of things, if you're on that fixed income, where are you going to get the extra income to get out of debt?
Right. So what do you do?
You need a side hustle.
You need a side hustle.
You need a side hustle. Everybody needs a side hustle because the tax advantages will save you taxes on the income that you're bringing in from that job.
So
that you have more cash flow to use for either paying down debt or increasing investments.
Well, here's the thing about it is that even if your side hustle isn't as profitable as you want it to be,
exactly,
the fact that you get all the write-offs, the tax write-offs, and all these things, it creates additional cash flow for you.
Exactly.
And if you're out there and you're looking and you get a $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 refund from your getting your taxes done, then you're giving the IRS a interest-free loan all year
for 12 months.
And you could be taking that money, you could be using it to reducing your debt or to invest. And like Marlon talked about opportunity costs. We talk about that in chapter 1, opportunity costs. I talk about the stereo that I bought, opportunity costs. I could have been using that money for something else instead of making that payment on the stereo.
Right.
And so those are all part of the conversation to make you even more financially financial wellness, financially healthy, right? And we know that finances can have an impact on your physical health.
Yes.
Yeah. It can have
Alice wrote.
What's that?
I see what Alice wrote, problem brought up in the news today over devastating healthcare debt collection practices, and thank you, Sister Alice, for, bringing that up because, your health, my God, that's why I talk about gratitude, being grateful for what you do have. You mentioned the Joneses. I don't know who the Joneses are. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. My dad used to say, that was over 40, 50 years ago. I ain't about keeping up the Joneses. I'm like, who is the right? What you talking about? Willis. That's good.
But also, Marlon, you don't even know how the Joneses got that.
Right.
You don't know what it took for them to get that.
All you see is the end result. You don't know how many years they've been saving. You don't know what. All you know is they got it. And
all you know is what you see.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even like me going, like some people might like, wow, she went on a 4-week vacation. You don't know what it took for me to get from where I was to the 4-week vacation either.
It's very good.
And still get paid. And still got paid.
You
Come
had
on
to
now.
put your time in.
I
You
had
had
to
to
put
put
the
the
time
you had
in.
to put the time in. You
Yeah.
had to put the
Right.
sacrifices in.
Yeah. I
Um,
had to create the discipline in order to do all of that
right.
and
That's right.
stay focused on what the goal was. So a lot of times you see what other people have, but you don't see the work that went into it behind
Right.
the scenes. Because
That's
they
right.
might be flashy, but it's all paid for. You don't know that though.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Well, what do we say? You see the glory, but you don't know the story, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't know
Yeah.
the pain.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
what they went through. And
Mhm.
it just earlier, I was saying, you don't look like what you've been through, and
Right.
many of us don't look like what we've been through.
Right.
We some of us have been through HE double hockey sticks
Mhm.
in our life, but we don't wear it, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
we've gone through the hell, but we don't wear it on our back.
We don't
We
wear
don't
it.
wear it as a
Exactly.
banner. We
Yeah.
don't go around saying, "Hey, I was this." And I know people love the stories, right? People
Mhm.
love the stories that I was sleeping in my car, I was homeless,
Right.
and I didn't have this. Well, I thank God I ain't never been homeless, right? I
Right.
thank God
Thank
I've
God.
always had a roof over my head, always had plenty to eat. It wasn't that I didn't struggle. I had some struggles,
Right.
right? But people look at that and they love those stories of rags to riches.
Mhm.
But the glory of God is when he don't let you get into the rags, right?
Right.
The glory of God is when he sustains you even through the hard times, and it's him that keeps a roof over your head.
Mhm.
It's him that keeps food on your table,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? That's
That's
my
good.
testimony. It's like it wasn't that I did it, it's
Right.
that he did it for me.
Mhm.
Right.
And how dare we not give him all of the glory and honor for it, because
Right.
he deserves it all.
Mhm.
It deserves it all. And here's the thing that I believe this. I believe that whatever situation you find yourself in tonight, you may be watching this show right now, and you may be up to your eyeballs in debt.
Mhm.
You may be up to your eyeballs in debt and bills, and we're talking about a recession. We're talking about $5 and $6 and $7 gas. We're
Yeah.
talking about 8% inflation. Guess what? God is able.
Yes, he is.
He can bring you out. He won't take you to what he won't bring you through. And
Mhm.
so, but you just have to have a plan. The word says it. Write the plan. Write it. Write
And
the
make
vision.
it plain.
Make it plain that those who
Yes.
run can read it. And here's the thing. The reason why I know plans are important, Jeremiah 29:11.
Mhm.
I know the plans.
Mhm.
God wasn't going by the seat of his pants.
No.
He said, I know the what? The
The plan.
plans that I have for you, right? I know the plans I have for you. And so people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan.
There you
That's
go.
it. That's
Yeah,
it right there.
that's it. Yeah.
And so I think we just have to just continue to be encouraged and
Mhm.
be around like-minded people, right? That aren't going to encourage you to do something that's complete opposite of the direction that you want to go in.
Right.
So that whole thing about birds of a feather
Yeah,
flock together, right? If
it's true.
they say if you around 9 broke people, you're gonna be the 10th one, right?
Right.
And I mean, we do have to keep the company. We have to protect ourselves. And you love everybody, right?
Mhm.
We love everybody. I might rebuke your sin, but we love everybody, right?
Mhm.
Because I rebuke my own sin. I got some ways about myself I don't really like. So, so we have to I'm just so encouraged tonight because I've seen the hand of God work
Mhm.
in people's lives. I've seen people become debt free. I've seen people, get that freedom um, of not having debt and
Mhm.
and not and breaking out of the bondage of their past.
Mhm.
Right.
Mm.
I think that's an important part. And so, what does this have to do with business and money? It's got everything to do with it.
Everything.
It's
It's
got everything
everything.
to do with it.
Yes.
It's got
Mm.
everything to do with it because. Go ahead, Marlon.
No, I was just going to say, and I think that, now it's time to take action. And so, this Thursday, Tony's going to be facilitating a program, iPad Your Money. I'm not a talker, I'm a man of action. And, I just want to encourage the viewers, do something, right? I mean,
bring that up. Bring that flyer up if you could, sir.
Yeah, we just spent 52 minutes, and for you to be here, there's a reason why. And I just want to encourage you, be a person of action. And there's the flyer, July 14th is Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see iPadYourMoney.eventbrite.com. It's free. It's complimentary. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, for me, it's about action now, right? They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. And so Michelle and Tony, they are willing to share a success plan with you. Success leaves footprints, and everyone has a coach. Anyone who is operating at the optimal level has a coach. We can talk about sports. We can talk about, Michael Jordan. We can talk about entertainers, actors. They've got coaches. We can talk about executives, founders of companies, Bill Gates. They have coaches. Mark Cuban, they have coaches, right? And so Oprah, I just want to encourage you, take action, right? Take action. iPadYourMoney.eventbrite.com, because, and again, not just you, Tony talks about, birds of a feather flock together. I want to encourage you again to let 10 of your family members, your friends, tell them they need to reserve their seat. iPadYourMoney.eventbrite.com. There it is. And Tony, it says, increase, protect, and dominate your money. This webinar is for you if you lost money due to the stock market, if you are concerned about the next market crash, if you want to minimize the impact of taxes on your retirement, if you want to leave generational wealth. If one of those four things resonates with you, you need to be there. You need to be there. Right? Well, iPadYourMoney.eventbrite.com. I'm going to be quiet and, I'm ready to sign off, because I dropped the mic, as they say, right? Because I travel, and I can rock and motivate, but I don't even judge on the standing ovation. I'm judging the success that I have encouraged people to take action. It's no longer just talk, right? And that's because if you haven't moved the needle. Right. And again, what is your why? If your why should be your kids' kids. That's generational. That's what the Rockefellers. That was a long time ago, and now his great grandkids are still being blessed by some choices he made over 100 years ago. So I just want to share that. But Tony, Michelle, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for just being leaders in this field, and being so passionate to making a positive difference.
I just want to say, man, we have, for the webinar on Thursday, we have 100 seats. 74 of them are full. So if you want to register and be a part of that, go ahead and make that move tonight. Again, it's iPadYourMoney.eventbrite.com. And so earlier today, like I said, there was 74 seats of the 100 full. So, give us a reason why we got to add more seats to it, right? Right. But, come on and register and be a part. Get the information. I think some of this information we just can't hear enough. And for me, this is my ministry. This is my pulpit. This is what I do to help people. And Michelle helps people. Marlon helps people. And I know many of you are help people, and you're concerned about people, and you're concerned about the well-being of other people. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we want to talk about debt. You getting out of debt is so important for you, not for me. When I put together a debt repayment structure for someone, I don't get paid anything for that. But to see you be debt-free is huge. So make sure you schedule your appointment, iPadappointment.com, I know we're giving you a lot of things. Everything is iPad though, right? You're like, if I put in iPad, I'm gonna find it, right? So other two, and by by tomorrow we'll figure out what's going on with the technical glitch on the website. And let's go.
Yeah.
So let's give last word. Last word. What would you share tonight? One last word party, Marlon.
Action. Take action.
Michelle.
I would have to agree, because you can hear a lot of information, but action is what's going to move the needle.
Well, I might as well make it a triple play. I'm going to say action too then. Yeah. Take action. Triple A. Take action tonight. So listen, thank you everybody for being on tonight, being part of the Real Money Coach Show live. Remember, Saturday mornings, 7:30 a.m. Get up, get on the treadmill, go for your walk. Check your boy out on Praise 100. You can go to praisecharlotte.com if you're not in the Charlotte area. And so we love you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. We're out.